Hey guys, today I'm here to talk about the next film in my Year of Miyazaki project, which is Only Yesterday, which was written and directed by Isao Takahata. Now this was originally released in 1991 under the Japanese title Omoide Poroporo, which translated literally means memories trickle down. It was also based on a manga series of the same title, which was written by, Hotaru Okamoto and Yuko Tone. When Only Yesterday came out, people hadn't really seen anime of this style before, and even today a lot of anime buffs consider this to be a progressive anime film because rather than being a fantastical adventure marketed towards kids, it's a more slow-paced kind of coming-of-age story marketed towards or meant for adults. Only Yesterday is the story of a woman named Taiko who is 27 years old and works as just kind of a generic office worker in Tokyo. Like her parents before her, Taiko was born and raised in Tokyo, so she should be the consummate city girl, and yet, unlike the rest of her family, she has always had this real pining for the countryside and for nature, and nobody else in her family seems to understand that. At the beginning of the film, we follow Taiko as she starts her journey to the Takase district in the Yamagata prefecture, which is basically countryside, where she's going to stay with the family of her brother-in-law, where they still practice traditional farming. Apparently, this is the second trip she's made to Yamagata prefecture, and she finds life there fascinating and completely different from life in Tokyo and everything she ever wanted as a young girl. Reaching the Takase district station, she meets a young man named Toshio, who it turns out is her brother-in-law's second cousin, who has been sent to pick her up and bring her back to the family farm, and they quickly fall into an easy friendship. Now, this main action with the adult Taiko takes place in 1982, but as she gets to know Toshio better and helps the family work the farm, she becomes increasingly nostalgic, and so a lot of the film actually takes place in flashbacks to 1966 when Taiko was about 10 years old in 5th grade. 5th grade, it turns out, was quite the formative year for Taiko. She had her first crush, she learned about how her body was going to be changing and how she was going to be starting her period soon, and she first realized some of the social limitations that Tokyo society has created. And that is kind of it for the plot. I think you can definitely see how this was based on a manga because it's very episodic and there's no real overarching plot action. It's more of a character study of Taiko herself as she works through her childhood memories and comes to understand how those events back in the day have affected who she is in the present of 1982. Compared to the other films I've talked about for my Year of Miyazaki series, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Only Yesterday. I thought it was a really beautiful film and I would definitely recommend it, but I don't have as much to dig into with this one as, say, some of the other films. I will say that I think it's a really great follow-up to My Neighbor Totoro within Studio Ghibli's chronology. Like I talked about in that video, Totoro is very much Miyazaki's argument that we should return to a simpler, more traditional life. It's very pastoral and very much idolizes kind of the natural world. And in this case, with Only Yesterday, it does kind of exactly the same thing. If you liked the pastoral feel of My Neighbor Totoro, if you like sweeping countryside landscapes, you're gonna love this film. It very much idolizes traditional agricultural life in Japanese society and is very clear that it could be a dying industry if people don't hang on to those traditions and share them with future generations. I think this was a really interesting and different look at pastoral traditional life though, because Only Yesterday, like I said, is set in 1982, and so things are pretty modern. So the contrast, I think, between kind of city life in Tokyo and the countryside life she experiences in Yamagata prefecture are more distinct from each other. This could be a little bit of a spoiler, but as for kind of a romance story, I thought it worked perfectly. Takahata did a really good job of portraying a very natural progression from acquaintance to friend to potentially something more. It didn't feel forced, it wasn't trying to be a romance, but it just happened to be that way really naturally and really beautifully. As for the animation, I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Takahata definitely has a more realistic style of anime than, say, Miyazaki, and he doesn't have as vibrant colors. Maybe that was because I wasn't watching a remastered edition of the film, but the colors in Miyazaki's films definitely pop more than in Takahata's. But regardless, I thought the countryside was beautiful. The human emotion he's able to portray in drawings is crazy, and yeah, on the animation, he gets a big thumbs up for me. I only had one problem with the film, and that was with one of the flashbacks. Now, I'm obviously not going to give away details and spoil anything, but there's one flashback at the end of the film that's kind of supposed to be this big turning point, realization moment, and I didn't really understand the connection between the flashback that they showed and the turning point that she had. Yeah, I didn't really get that connection. So for me, that was kind of this big build-up moment and then a bit of a letdown. But that's kind of all I had a problem with. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, if you've seen the film and you know that last flashback I'm talking about, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought. So those were all of my thoughts on Only Yesterday by Isao Takahata and Studio Ghibli. And again, it was lighter on the discussion, but I thought it was a really beautiful film, and I would highly suggest that you check it out if you get a chance. And actually, a new English dub was finally released for this film just this past January. So if you can get your hands on that or go see it, I know some small theaters are still showing it, I would definitely suggest doing so. Anyways, the next film in Studio Ghibli's chronology, which I will be watching and discussing, is Porco Rosso, and I am super excited because I have not seen this yet, and it's a film about a pig, so that should be good. And with that, I'm gonna sign off. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day and staying cool, and I will see you next time. Bye! I say staying cool because it's friggin' hot in here.